Hurricane Milton roared ashore. It slammed into the Florida coastline. The date was etched in memory. October 12th, 2024. Winds howled, rain lashed down, the storm surged. It swallowed homes and businesses. Milton, a Category 3 hurricane, left its mark. It carved a path of destruction across the Sunshine State. The immediate aftermath was staggering. The landscape was scarred, trees were uprooted, lying like fallen soldiers. Debris littered the streets. Homes were ripped apart. The air was thick with the smell of saltwater and the stench of decay. The true extent of the damage was yet to be fully grasped. But one thing was clear. Florida faced a long and arduous road to recovery. The human cost was thankfully minimal. Thanks to timely evacuations, loss of life was limited. But the storm's impact on people's lives was profound. Thousands were displaced, their homes uninhabitable. The storm had tested their resilience. It had pushed them to the limit. But in the face of adversity, the spirit of the people of Florida shone through. As Hurricane Milton churned towards Florida, a mass exodus began. Millions heeded the warnings. They packed their belongings, gathered their loved ones, and fled inland. Highways became arteries, clogged with a river of cars. They snaked their way toward safety. The evacuation was not without its challenges. Traffic stretched for miles. Tempers flared. Gas stations ran dry. Finding shelter was a scramble. Many spent anxious hours, even days, crammed into shelters or the homes of generous strangers. But through it all, there was a sense of shared purpose. They were in it together. For many, the decision to evacuate was heart-wrenching. Leaving behind their homes, their possessions, their sense of normalcy was agonizing. They could only hope that what they returned to would be recognizable. Uncertainty gnawed at them. Would their homes still be standing? Would their lives ever be the same? As the storm subsided, residents slowly began to trickle back to their communities. The scenes that greeted them were often heartbreaking. Homes were reduced to rubble. Businesses were destroyed. The streets were impassable, choked with debris. The stench of decay hung heavy in the air. The full scope of the devastation was overwhelming. The task ahead was daunting. Clearing the debris was just the first step. Homes needed to be rebuilt. Businesses needed to reopen. Lives needed to be pieced back together. The recovery process would be long and arduous. It would require immense resilience, determination, and support. Amidst the devastation, there were glimmers of hope. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers lent a hand. First responders worked tirelessly to clear roads, restore power, and provide aid to those in need. The outpouring of support, both locally and nationally, was a testament to the human spirit. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, compassion and generosity can prevail. Section 4. Neighbors helping neighbors. The silver lining. If there was a silver lining to be found in the wake of Hurricane Milton, it was the remarkable sense of community that emerged. Neighbors helped neighbors clear debris, sharing tools, and offering words of encouragement. Strangers stopped to lend a hand, offering food, water, and a shoulder to cry on. Community kitchens sprung up, providing hot meals to those who had lost everything. Churches opened their doors, offering shelter and solace to the displaced. Donation centers overflowed with clothing, toiletries, and other essential items. The spirit of generosity was infectious. The storm had stripped away material possessions, but it had also revealed the deep well of compassion and resilience that resided within the community. In the face of shared adversity, people came together, offering support, comfort, and hope to one another. Section 5. The government steps in aid and assistance. The federal government acted swiftly, declaring a state of emergency for Florida. This paved the way for much-needed aid to flow into the affected areas. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, mobilized resources, deploying teams to assist with rescue efforts, provide temporary housing, and distribute emergency supplies. Governor Ron DeSantis was a visible presence in the aftermath of the storm, touring affected areas, meeting with residents, and coordinating relief efforts. He promised swift action to rebuild infrastructure, provide financial assistance to those in need, and help communities recover. The road to recovery would be long and challenging, but the commitment from both the federal and state governments provided a glimmer of hope. It was a reassurance that they were not alone in this ordeal. Help was on the way. Section 6. Rising from the rubble, a stronger Florida. The scars left by Hurricane Milton will likely remain for years to come. but so too will the spirit of resilience and the sense of community that emerged from the wreckage. The people of Florida are a hardy bunch, accustomed to facing down natural disasters. They have weathered storms before, and they will weather this one too. The rebuilding process will be long and arduous, but it will also be an opportunity to build back better, to create more resilient communities, and to strengthen the bonds that unite us. From the rubble, a stronger Florida will emerge. The storm may have tested their mettle, but it has not broken their spirit. The people of Florida are determined to rebuild their lives, their homes, and their communities. They will emerge from this ordeal stronger, more resilient, and more united than ever before. The sunshine will return to the Sunshine State.